Hi, everybody. I'm here with Kyle, and we're doing another blog on relationships. It seems to be a hot topic that everybody wants to hear more about and hear Kyle's wisdom on it. So, today, one of the questions that I had, and I know some of our clients will definitely have this, why is it, Kyle, that relationships seem to degrade over time, that the love seems to kind of get zapped out of a relationship over the long haul? I'm just curious if you have anything to say around that.
Yeah, it's a great topic. Like at first when we meet somebody, there's a lot of energy and excitement, and that's just like, all this kind of deep acceptance and play, and then there's that way that when the relationship starts to get serious, we talk about that when I give the talk at the mountain experience about giving yourself away. But I think this question's a little bit different. I mean, it has to do with giving self away in that, like, I'm trying to please the other person, but there's a stage, from that initial fascination where we go into a deeper stage of intimacy. And in that deeper stage of intimacy and exploration, we start to find the kind of the challenge points in a relationship. And if we don't have enough safety in the relationship to talk about those things or to share those points of struggle or to work through those points of struggle, is the intimacy starts getting contracted. So if I have an issue with somebody and, we could say I withhold it, I don't share it. So I stuff it, kind of like stuffing emotional pain, right? But I'm stuffing that issue in the relationship. So as soon as I stuff and swallow and withhold that thing, is that I recognize there's a lack of intimacy. There's a layer in between me and the intimacy, and there's a way that the other person can kind of perceive that there's a loss in the intimacy because of that withholding. And then it starts to kind of go back and forth. There's another thing that's not said or heard or received or dealt with or addressed. And so like this kind of challenging period of relationship can either get more and more constricted, but if we're really willing to share the withholds and walk through the difficulty or walk through the conversation, is there's actually a way that it just keeps opening up to more intimacy. The more we're willing, it has to do with our personal work too. I mean, you can't do this unless you're doing your personal work. But if you're doing your personal work and then you're sharing, these intimacies and these withholds and what's really going on for you, there's the potentiality, the possibility that we can work through these things. Because then that thing comes up and we come back and we work on ourselves, with our coach or at the mountain experience or wherever, and we get through that, and then we can come back to the discussion and say, oh, I realized when you shared that I wasn't really ready to hear it, but I'm ready to hear it now, and I can really love you in that spot. And so there's this way that if we're in a process of really consciously working with relationship, is that we can share these withholds and we can feel the contraction, and we can work through our thing and then come back to that thing, and then I can move through this thing. And there's this way that, that we keep building and creating more of that. One of the first places to suffer is people ask, well, where's the sex gone in my relationship? But the sex is like the very first, because sex is like one of our most vulnerable things. So when we start to have the withholds, is more and more the sex goes away as a symbol, as a reflection on the lack of intimacy.
Amazing. I was just actually listening to a podcast about this last night, and just how, that idea in our culture that something's wrong when that love goes away. And this person was saying just what you're saying, that there's nothing wrong. It's just that there's work to do. And sometimes, do you think it's a cultural thing that we have, that sometimes we're just in love with falling in love and we don't always want to put in the work around it? I don't know. That just seems to be a common theme in my friendships. That's like one thing I hear is, oh, it's just too hard.
Yeah. Well, the reason why it's too hard is people aren't doing their work. I mean,
yeah.
You can see that so clearly when people come to the mountain experience. It's like, it's hard because we have to wade through all this sticky mess that we have within ourselves. So it's really hard to meet the other person because, we have to walk through our own crap. But the more we move through our own stuff, the easier it is and lighter it is to meet somebody else in a relationship.
Beautiful. There we go. So just come to a mountain experience or get coaching, do your work, and then it's not so hard to meet the other person.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Kyle, for sharing that. And if you have a topic for us, we'd love to cover it. Feel free to email me at olivia@inquirymethod.com. Thanks, Kyle. See you again.
Yeah.